Welcome to the Imperfect Dads podcast.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Devin.
We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids,
but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like.
Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood.
And how they feel like they're holding it all together.
Or how they're not.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. On this episode, we have on Taylor Burns. Taylor plays guitar and sings in the band The Wild Feathers. In this episode, we talk about his experience being a stepdad, Dallas area sports, trying to have a kid with IVF, his life on tour, who we were in high school, and trying to get your teenager to talk to you. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad.
Justin, are you in Nashville?
I was, but I moved to Murfreesboro.
Okay,
So,
well that's Nashville adjacent.
Nashville adjacent.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I think Ricky's wife's from Murfreesboro, or maybe she went to college there.
Really?
I can't remember.
Gotcha. Yeah, I moved to Murfreesboro back in October, like 3 weeks before my little baby boy was born. So it was not the best time.
Yeah,
but
hence the boxes still in the room.
Hence the boxes.
yes, hence the boxes.
Yes.
And it's been 7 months, and I still haven't unpacked.
That's all good. I think the only reason we got out of boxes is because I'm a stay-at-home parent. So that meant like during the day, I just got a pile of boxes and went through it. So like without that, it would have been my wife and I staying up, trying to get the kids to go to sleep. Like, all right, it's 5 p.m. Go to bed. We have to unpack stuff. And like that just doesn't. Also unpacking stuff with kids is like the worst experience ever because like you pull out a toy and they're like, but I want to play with the rest of the toys. And you're like, I don't know what box those toys are in. So like, can you just leave me alone for like 10 minutes while I do this?
Houston, Austin, or Dallas?
Dallas. Went
Or
to school
neither.
in Austin. Went to the University of Texas. But then found my way to Nashville. Was in Nashville for 10 years, and then when I got started dating my wife, she's from here as well. I moved back right before we got married. So right after the pandemic, pretty much.
Awesome.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I still have a little house in Nashville I rent out. I was just there this past weekend. I still have my roots. I got a lot of
Yeah.
roots
Oh,
in
sweet.
Nashville.
Nice.
Yeah, and I lived in Austin back in 2007.
I was there.
Absolutely loved it.
Dude, I
Yeah.
loved it too.
Yeah. Subletted from a UT guy. It was like one of those college apartments that he wasn't supposed to sublet, but he did. And
Yeah.
I moved in with 4 or 5 different strangers that I had never met in my entire life. My dad found it on Craigslist or something like that. But it was the best time of my life.
Dude, I
Austin
loved it
was
too. I
amazing.
loved it too. And I kind of saw when I moved to Nashville, it felt very, very similar, music centric, like the river that runs
Yeah.
right through the middle of town. Austin was a little quirkier and a little,
Yeah.
different, but still it was a lot of similarities. And then also Nashville blew up like Austin kind of did right before, getting developed and all the other stuff that went along with it. So I was like, damn, I'm kind of just reliving the same city pattern out, it just in a new spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, I think his name is Leslie, the homeless dude that
the
ran
drag
for
guy,
mayor
yeah.
and everything.
The homeless
think
guy
he
in
died
town.
This is the second person you've mentioned this homeless person to, Justin, on this podcast, and
Dude,
I know
it
exactly
is-
what you're talking about. That's so funny.
he was famous. I
He's a
don't know
legend.
if he's still with us, but yeah, he was definitely a legend. I saw him all the time.
Yeah, I remember my girlfriend at the time came to visit me, and we were walking down 6th Street, and he was on the street with a bikini, top and bottom, and doing belly rolls and counting down from 10. And when he got to 1, he just fell into the pool, the kiddie pool. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane.
That's
That is
incredible.
insane.
Yeah, it's still got a little bit of that vibe, but it's definitely changed through the years.
Yeah.
Awesome. And tell me again, you are a stepfather, correct?
I'm a stepdad. That's right.
Awesome.
I've known my stepdaughter since she was born because I've been friends with my wife since high school. We never dated back in high school or anything. We were both she was married before I was pretty much married without the title. And when we both became freed up, we're like, And so I've been in my stepdaughter's life since she was about 3. So
Okay.
That's awesome.
now she's 12. She's almost 13 in June, and just in the throes of it. She's awesome, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's full blown teenager mode.
I have a 9 and 7-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. And yeah, my 9-year-old daughter is already like just so much sass and so much
The
like
sass.
attitude where like it'll be like, what was it? It's just the way her tone, like teaching a child how to have, or teaching your kid how to have kinder tone is like
Yeah.
one of the weirdest things ever. Cause they'll say something and you're like, hey, I don't know if you know this. You sound like a jerk when you say something like
For
that.
sure.
And then you're like, there's got to be a kinder way to say that, but that's what you're doing. So stop it.
Same. Yeah. And especially at this age, I remember being a teenager and just everything felt like the world was against you. Like, I remember telling myself, like,
Yeah.
remember this. And so I try to give her a little grace sometimes. I'm like, hey, I know she didn't mean it. But if it's too, if it's too often, like, hey, you don't speak kinder. Like, just be cool. I know you're going through a lot, your hormones are raging, but just be cool.
Calm it down. Yeah,
Yeah.
I find those moments more with how she talks to her siblings than how she talks to like me and my wife.
Mhm.
It's more like if her younger sister is like, "What, Holly?" And then she's like, "I already said this," and I'm like, "Nope,
Yeah.
that's not. Nope,
For
you
sure.
don't."
That's good though, man.
And
You gotta nip it in the bud.
you try to. I mean, it's funny. I hate it because like whenever I tell her to stop, then that means I also have to watch my tone constantly,
Mhm.
and then I'm aware of like, wait, is this? That's always the eternal question with a kid is like, did you learn this from someone, or am I teaching you this every single day and I don't realize it?
Oh yeah. I'm not proud of it, but I cuss all the time. And I'm just like, she doesn't repeat it, luckily. But I'm kind of like, oh sorry. She's like, I know at this point, I mean, it's inevitability. So
She's probably heard it at school a million
yeah,
times by now.
yeah. She says, I mean, it's not a cuss word, but it's just bruh this, bruh that. Oh, bruh. I'm like, all right, easy with the
Yeah.
bruh.
Yeah,
I thought that got phased out 10 years ago, but I guess
And
not.
no, I think it's coming back.
It all comes back in
it
a
all
circle.
comes back. You could. I always want to say "bruv" instead to make it more like
Bruv.
British.
Yeah. Hey, bruv. Hey, bruv.
bruv.
So that's more.
Hello, bruv.
That's how I show how outdated I am.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there
Then
you
they're
go.
like, Dad.
I'm not at that point yet with kind of getting that almost teenage years attitude, but she's 3 years old and I swear she's a teenager and
Yeah,
in
yeah.
her mind she has the craziest attitude.
Yeah, it happens, man.
And I'm like, where did you learn this from?
Yeah, and just
And
glare at your wife, like, gotta be.
yeah, I do. I'm like, you got your mom's temper, and then she always stares at me like, huh? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Oh
Gosh.
man. So what's new in your life? You recently got married as well, like
Yeah, a couple years ago,
2
dude, we
years.
just got back from.
2
Yeah, 2 year. I guess it was 3. It was 3 March, or we got married during COVID, so we have 2 weddings.
Okay.
Officially, it was September 25th in 2021, but our big wedding
Yeah.
was February 12th, 2022. So that's real fun to have
Okay.
Gotcha.
to have 2 anniversaries to remember. But it was just our
Wait,
wedding.
does she expect you?
No, I mean, no, but I still feel I'm like, oh, I guess I'll make a nice
Okay.
dinner or something. So I always pick the other one. It was our wedding date moved like 3 or 4 times. We got married in Oaxaca, Mexico. And so
Cool.
the
Okay.
COVID restrictions were so crazy down there, and which for good reason. But it was like, no, this is canceled. You have to move it now. You have to move it now. And then finally, we're like, let's just get it done. And then whenever this finally frees up, we'll have the big wedding down there. So
Yeah. Nice. How was that? I know you just got back from Italy. What did you do in Italy, or how was it over there?
yeah, first time it was magical. We went to Rome, Florence, and down to the Amalfi Coast area. Spent 12 days there. I think I told you my sweet little 5-year-old pug died. Like
Yeah.
the
Man.
second night we were there, our house sitter called and was like, "Hey, your dog." It was just crazy unexpected. So that really was a gut punch.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thank God we were there because I think we were able to kind of snap out of it. You know what I mean, and enjoy this beautiful surroundings. But yeah, highly recommend Italy. Turns out everyone's right. Goes there.
Yes. Did you just eat pasta constantly? Did you live a full Italian stereotype?
1000%. I had like cacio e pepe like 6 times. I had
Well, yeah.
carbonara.
Yeah.
awesome wine for cheap. It's like $20 for a whole bottle, and it's just like the best wine you ever had.
Heard when you eat pasta from like Italy, you don't feel so miserable afterwards like you do with the pasta here.
I think that's like my wife was because she's pretty much gluten free, and she's like, but I heard the pasta's different in Italy. I'm like, well, we'll find out. So we ate it pretty much every night, and all was well.
Yeah. I've
And
heard it multiple times.
we walked like 10 miles a day too. So I think
Yeah.
any ill effects from that, you're still walking back from dinner. So I think that helps too.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing about like bigger cities, or I've only been to like London once, and I've been to the Philippines or Manila in the Philippines once.
Cool.
And like you just walk everywhere, or you get on like public transit, and it's just very different than like Nashville wasn't the most walkable town.
No, for sure. Yeah,
Like
Dallas sure as
most
hell
neighborhoods
isn't.
don't have sidewalks. Yeah, like
Yeah,
so it's different than like being in Manhattan. You're just like, hey, I need to go to here. All right, just walk. Like it's gonna be faster than driving. So
for
just go
sure.
walk like a
Yeah,
mile.
and that's so awesome too. Like, yeah, I love New York for the same reason. And just when you're walking there too in Italy, you just round a corners. Like, here's a McDonald's, and you round something like, oh, that's like where Julius Caesar was assassinated, and it's like right in the middle of like other
Whoa.
modern stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and people who live there just walking right by. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, Michelangelo's buried in there. That's right.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah. People pilgrimage to this spot.
yeah.
And you guys
I
are
mean,
just
it's
casually walking
insane. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. What are some of your interests? Are you like a history nerd or anything like that?
I wouldn't say a nerd, but I really do enjoy it. Like I
Okay.
really like, especially there. Yeah, I love to learn about it and see where everything came from. Big sports fan. I'm going to go to the Luka's coming back. I don't know if you heard about the Luka trade. Surely
No,
he
yeah.
got traded
No,
to the
is he
Lakers.
really?
So
Yes, of
the
course.
Lakers are in town tomorrow night. My buddy hooked me up with a
Dude.
ticket to that, so I'm gonna wear
Dun.
a Luka Lakers jersey just to show my protest.
Are they gonna boo him or?
Oh, they're gonna boo the owner and boo the
They're gonna
general
boo the
manager.
ownership and
Gotcha.
GM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a Fire Nico shirt. He's the GM too. I'm trying to figure out
GM.
which shirt to wear.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, they messed that one up, and then the Luka thing is just unforgivable. I don't know how much we're going to get into it, but they got 1 first-round draft pick back for him. Like Rudy
I don't
Gobert got
understand it at
4
all.
first-round draft picks. I'm like, I could have
I got nothing.
stomached it a little bit more. I mean, it's all ridiculous because it's Luka, and I was happy. I wanted to see him play here, like Dirk his whole career.
Forever.
And then, but to get 1 first-round pick back is just it's asinine. It's crazy.
The only thing I want to know is like how much money was he asking for, and like what was he like in the locker room culture? Because those are like the only things I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't get the sense he's that awful of a person.
No, from all his teammates, like I've listened to all the podcasts and all the interviews, like everyone loved him. And it's like, who cares how much money he was asking for? He's worth it. He's
He's
a
insane.
global.
Yeah.
He's like, everyone in Europe loves him. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
They probably made so much money just off his jersey sales, because of his international appeal.
Also, to trade for Anthony Davis, who is a phenomenal, like once in a lifetime athlete, but whenever I see his name, I expect him to be on the injury report.
Yeah, his
Like, I don't
nickname is
expect
Street
him to be-
Clothes. His nickname is
Well,
Street Clothes.
he did didn't 2 weeks in, didn't he?
Yeah, he's
Get
already
hurt?
played in the G League. Yeah, he's already
Yeah.
spent time rehabbing.
His first game at the Mavs, he
Yes,
came out.
that's
He had
right.
an incredible game, but in like the third quarter, he
Uh-huh.
got an injury and was out for 3 weeks.
Say, I will always love him
Of course.
because he helped my Wildcats win the national championship.
I mean,
was
he's
gonna
the
ask.
reason why.
So yeah, he was
Yeah.
really he carried that team. But man, so I will always love him for that. But man,
See, I
like,
have no
his
ill will
NBA
towards him. Like,
career-
I feel like he's getting a bad rap too, which sucks because they're not mad at him. We're just like, you're a great player, but you're
You?
32. Lucas 24. Like, there's just the math ain't mathing. So
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
it's not you. So
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I'm a Pacers fan, being from Indiana, so I'm very happy. I went and actually saw them play against the Nuggets, and I watched like the Nuggets just fired their GM and their head coach like
Heard
today,
that today, dude.
which is insane. It feels very similar to the Bucks like 2 or 3 years ago after they'd won the championship. Whenever they fired
Yes,
everyone,
dude.
whenever they fired everyone,
And they
I'm
got
just
Doc
like,
Rivers, to come and coach.
that's right, the most like snake bit like head coach of
I
all
know.
time.
Yeah, that
Except
is
for one
crazy.
season.
That it's like, what's his name? Who's y'all's coach now? He coaches the Mavs. I'm spacing.
Oh yeah, Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle. Like,
yeah, he went Pacers, took some time off, I think, went to the Mavs, won the championship, and now is back with the Pacers
so that
again.
he won a championship and it got him like 10 more years. It's like, all right, you can coast on that for forever. We're not going to fire you.
Can.
And then finally it's like, this guy, Denver won the championship like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not even 2 years ago.
So there must have been something going on.
Well, the only thing I can think of is that you have, I mean, to some extent, you are kind of wasting Jokic's like phenomenal triple-double season right now by not ending games better. So I don't know if that's based on like personnel or something like that. I don't know if like Michael Malone, like the locker room just hated him or something. But yeah, I'm the same of like this dude 2 years ago figured it out. And last year you guys lost in game 7 to the Timberwolves, who are a phenomenal up and coming team. Like you didn't lose to no one.
Yeah. Or at least just fire him after the playoff run. Like it just seems like a really odd time to do it. Like the playoffs start in a week. And it's like, all right.
Same with the Grizzlies. Like I don't understand why the Grizzlies did it.
Some shady shit must have gone down.
That's what I'm thinking.
Shady.
That coach does seem like he might party a little bit or something.
Yeah.
I mean, he did at the
like,
parade, so I'm like, maybe he was there was something behind the scenes that we didn't know.
Maybe. Well, I know last year he was very much like whenever they went down against the Timberwolves, he very publicly was like, this team doesn't want it. Like it's like I'm coaching them, I'm telling them what to do. The desire to win doesn't seem to be there right now.
Yeah, that's
and so
tough.
like I mean that's also a way to call out your team to be like, you guys are playing like you deserve to win this game, but you aren't like this team wants it more. So go out there and like win it. So I wonder if that like pissed off some players where they're like, how dare you say that about me? And he's like, you guys aren't playing, like they're getting all the loose balls. They're boxing out. Like
it's probably
they're doing the basics. You guys aren't.
Yes.
Jim Harbaugh is always my favorite example of that. Whenever he was with the 49ers, his 4 years went NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, NFC Championship game, 8-8 season, fired the next year. Like, I'm sorry. If the Colts had that 4 years in a row, I would be like, you have like 10 more years. Like,
brother, I'm a Cowboys fan. We're like one of 3 franchises with no NFC championship appearance. So that's another thing about the Mavs. The Mavs are like my little like indie rock band team, like those little Mavs, like they were everything that the Cowboys weren't. And then this GM had to go and ruin the whole entire city. Like people are having like changing their license plates to F Nico. And it's just,
oh my God,
we're not okay in Dallas.
Well, I mean,
did he give a reason why? Like
they said his work ethic.
Surely somebody.
They said he was out of shape.
Work ethic?
They said he drank, and like this is all. It was never. He didn't say it directly, but it kind of came out from other sources, league sources, that he was like didn't take his conditioning seriously. And I'm like, I don't care. He's averaging almost a triple double a night. Let him do whatever he wants.
He's not muscular like the other guys are.
I guess.
He's not taking steroids.
He's
but
getting hurt. He's getting hurt a little, every season, but just for like a couple weeks. So who knows, man? It's crazy.
Do you take your daughter to sporting events?
So,
with you?
Yes.
Is that kind of like how you get away by yourself?
She likes hockey. She likes the Stars. So
cool.
So we'll take her to that.
Nice.
I've taken her to a Mavs game. I'm taking her to a baseball game. She has no interest in football, but hockey's the one she like went and was like screaming like like getting into it. I was like, okay,
that's awesome.
I think we found her sport she likes. So we'll go. Yeah, we'll go to a couple of those a year.
Yeah.
I thought the Stars were pretty good. Were they in the Stanley Cup in the past like 5 years?
Yes, they've been in there. They were in the Western Conference Finals, I think, last year, and they're like the second best team in the Western Conference this year.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Turned into a sports podcast.
For a little bit.
I don't know. I'm fine with it. I can talk.
I'll nudge it back.
I can talk it all day. I just don't want to.
We talked about his bringing his daughter, so we're still
I just don't want to nerd out too hard.
Dad.
I can talk about.
No, it's the like. As a dad, you do like. I'm a very big soccer fan, so I'm like, I care about soccer. I'll sit here and watch Liverpool play like every single day if I possibly could. And then I'm like, oh shit, I should include my kids. Because they're in the room. So you look up and you're like, I really care about this thing for some reason. And a 1-0 score makes me either very angry or very mad. And I should probably explain to my kids why I'm in a weird mood now for the rest of the day because of 90 minutes of a sport.
For sure. I know that's what sports does. And sometimes you feel ridiculous, but like, it matters to me.
Yeah.
I wish soccer was more. I wish I got more into it. Like, I think that, especially our Dallas team, it's like way up north in Frisco. I don't know. That's like 40 miles from me. It's a huge metroplex. So I'm like, so we never go to a game. My wife played soccer. So she comes from a soccer family. I never got attached to it as I did the other sports. But I wish I was. It just doesn't seem like the vibe is like, that Nashville FC or whatever. It seems pretty like there's more of a vibe, or even the Austin team seems like a really good
Austin team, very much
atmosphere.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
still try to go to a game because watching soccer in person is very different than watching on TV.
Yeah.
Like any sport. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
watching a hockey game on TV is one thing. Being in a hockey game is hockey. Hockey's meant to be watched in person. Every time you go to a hockey game, you're like, this is
Yeah.
the best experience ever. Then you watch it on TV and you're like, that was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of how soccer is for me. I can't really watch it, or never really even got into it until you took me to one of the Nashville SC games.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome.
It's fun. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw him play at the Sound Stadium actually before they had that arena.
yeah.
It was,
Yep.
And it was really fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. What do you think makes your daughter like hockey of all the sports?
I don't know. I'm like, should I be worried that she likes the most violent sport? Well, I guess football might be a little more violent. I don't know what it is. I think she thinks Wyatt Johnson's really cute too. There's like the 21-year-old guy. I'm like, take it easy. You're 12.
Has she started getting crushes or trying to have boyfriends yet or anything?
No, she talks about it. She's like, I want a boyfriend. I'm like, it'll let the game come to you. You don't need to go.
Yeah.
So
The boys will come.
Yeah, they will. There's no rush. It's all kind of, I'm sure it's coming real soon. But
is she like in like
hopefully she can wait.
Yeah. Is she in like 7th or 8th grade or something like that?
Yeah, 7th grade.
Okay.
She's June birthday, so I guess she's, she'll be kind of late. She's always the youngest or one of the youngest.
Mhm.
Yeah. She's awesome. She's a great kid. Only child, so she's spoiled rotten, but she's still, she's still cool. We make her do chores and stuff to try to keep her
Yeah,
honest, keep her humble.
Nice.
Are you an only child, or do you have siblings as well?
I have one, I guess, sister of both my parents, and then I have a half sister and a half brother. So older half brother that was my dad's first marriage, and then my half sister, we're really close. She lives out in LA, but yeah, me and Casey, my older sister, is the only like same parent. So yeah, I always wanted 2 kids, just because that's what I grew up with. I grew up with another sibling. I mean, other than the half sister came in later, so that was always the idea. We're talking about having another kid, but I'm also like, damn, we're kind of on the home stretch now. You know what I mean?
You are. Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 40. Yeah.
Okay.
Me and my wife are both 40. She's 41 actually. I'll be 41 in June. So there's, it's a little more difficult at that age. But I'm also just going to Italy and just like, walking around.
Yeah,
We walked 10 miles. I'm like, this would not be happening. We would not be doing
It
this
does
with young
not.
kids.
It does not when your kids are
Yeah.
littler.
Well, dude,
For sure.
I was 40 in 1 month, basically, when my baby boy was born.
That's awesome. So it can be done.
It can be done.
Yes.
Are you?
And
Is your wife
tomorrow-
younger? Or is she the same age or what?
She's younger. She's 37.
Okay.
She just turned 37.
Yeah. So full disclosure, we're doing IVF, or we did IVF.
Really?
Yeah, we did our first round. Didn't work out.
Okay.
It's expensive it's so
very
expensive.
expensive.
Our insurance doesn't cover any of it. So it's like it's such a weird situation to be put in. Like, hey, to weigh the cost of something to having a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you really want it, but I also have Layla, even though it's, not my real, it's my stepdaughter, but I consider her, blood. So it's just this weird negotiation you're doing with yourself all the time, and you want to be like, oh, that's cool, but I also don't want to go into debt to get there. So it's just it's a weird thing to try to be practical about something that's so emotional and different.
It is. I mean, to some extent, we've had quite a few dads on where they're in their second marriage, like Justin is as well, and then they have a family, and it means something to the family unit to be like, hey, this is our next phase of life. We're doing this together, and now let's have a kid.
For sure.
A child in those scenarios signifies a lot, and it means brings you Justin. I'm sure you could speak to this more than I can since you've lived it. But when you've had a marriage or relationship that didn't work out the way you thought it would, and then you find your person, and you're like, what's something that makes this feel even more like, hey, this is our family, this is our unit.
For
It's
sure.
a child.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
What can I do to chain somebody to me? Yeah.
Yeah.
How to make sure this one doesn't leave.
You never get away. You never getting away.
No, I mean, to go through the divorce where I didn't have kids with the first marriage, it was a lot easier than any of my friends who have had kids
Yeah.
and gotten a
Cut it
divorce.
loose. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. I mean, just from hearing from my friends, it just sounds like a nightmare. But I am
It does.
so glad that I was able to just kind of cut it and then.
Yeah, it still sucks. It always makes it trickier. And I actually have a really good relationship with Layla's dad. His
Mhm.
name's Justin. Like that makes it so much easier. My parents got divorced when I was like 3, and they're still like best friends to this day. They still hang out all the time. Maybe not when my dad was married again, but now that he's divorced again, it's a lot easier. So I think that was a good lesson for me to see that, hey, it's, your kids were loved. Just sometimes you don't work out as a couple, and it's hard to cohabitate.
Dude, the older I get, just the more I realize just how messy life is. Because whenever you're a kid, you're like, oh, you get married, you fall in love, and you have children, and everything is happy. And then you get older, and it's like, no, you get married, and one of you never budges on something, or you never budge on something,
Yeah, you're like,
and
you're
then
not loading the
conflict and
dishwasher
resentment.
like I prefer.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, this is a resentment that's now bleeding out into other areas of life unless we address it. Oh, do I feel like addressing it today? I don't. Cool, that's not going to get better.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
There's just some
yeah.
stuff I know is probably not going to change, and vice versa, her for me. Like she sends me memes about, she's like, okay, this is me. Like, there's just piles up Amazon boxes right outside the thing. I'm like, the recycling is right there. Like,
It's right there.
I mean, I don't mind
You're up
taking
there.
it, but I was gone for 6 days. Like, you could have taken it out. I was on tour. Like, you can do it when I'm not here, or just little things like that. But I don't, we always kind of joke about it and laugh about it. I don't let it get to me, or it's just funny.
I always have I have bad allergies and drainage and stuff. So I do cough drops constantly. And my wife for our entire marriage of 12 years or so is I either find guitar picks or cough drop wrapper somewhere around the house. And then I know you're home. I know you're somewhere around
Yeah.
because why else would there be just a random pile of guitar picks and a couch cushion? I'm like, oh, is that where it was? Thanks. I've been looking for that.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I think Ricky and Joel, there's always they do the Zen pouches. Their wives are always like, man, these damn Zen pouches. They're they're in the
Everywhere.
laundry.
Oh, dude, those would be awful to. I've never done one, but those sound like they'd be awful to wash.
I must I guess they're addicting because Joel and Ricky love them. I'm like, I don't need another vibe.
Well, it's just straight nicotine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've wanted to try it, but then with my addictive lifestyle that I had, I'm like, I probably shouldn't.
For sure.
It gives me a buzz, and no one can tell whenever I'm doing it because it's inside my lip.
Yeah.
No, this doesn't turn out well for anyone.
I'll have 5 of them inside of
Exactly.
my mouth at the same time.
For your listeners, Joel and Ricky are my bandmates, by the way.
Yes.
So that's
Yes,
not
of
just
course.
random people.
Not just random. They're actually in the room behind you, just doing.
Yeah,
Zen.
Joel, they're my sons. Actually, they're hooked on Zens.
That's right. If I can ask you questions about IVF, can you talk to us about what led you guys to the point to do IVF, or what your experience has been like it? Also, if that's too personal,
No, that's
then
fine.
we don't
Yeah,
have to talk about it. Okay.
I think just my wife's age. We were trying the normal way, and it just wasn't happening. And then we went and just got some, I guess, the blood work done, and they tell you about where you're at, and it's going to be more difficult if unless you try IVF. So we did one round. We're kind of trying to figure out what to do next because, like I said, the expense. But I was always like, I'm fulfilled. But then once we started going down this path, I'm like, it kind of started getting my hopes up. Like,
Yeah.
I could, I started envisioning that as well again because
Yeah.
I've never got to experience the newborn or
Mhm.
I know this is probably everyone's gonna be like, don't worry about changing diapers, but I've never changed a diaper in my life. I didn't get to do that stuff where I feel like bonds you together even more.
Totally.
Not that I'm not bonded with Layla, but yeah, I don't know. It's just so I started thinking about all that stuff. So then when it gets they called and hey, none of the embryos worked out. It kind of pulls the rug out from under you, and then you kind of try to figure out what the next step is.
Realistically, the entire ability to conceive is pretty freaking insane. Whenever
It's
whenever
miraculous.
A woman's
It is
ovulating,
miraculous.
The percentage of during ovulation, if you can actually get pregnant, is it's a very low percentage.
Yeah.
So you are artificially taking a sperm and an egg, and you're trying to fertilize them, and then you're hoping that it actually works. So That's very hard to do.
And just like, yeah, it was one thing after another. It's like, oh, we're like, oh, we paid this. Like, that's crazy. It's like, oh, now you got to get the medicine. It's like, oh, that's $7,000. Like, holy
Mhm.
shit.
Yep.
Oh,
Whenever so far going through IVF, Taylor, do you feel like you've been able to find community through it, or do you feel like it's something that like other men or other dads are willing to discuss with you as you figure out this journey?
yeah. So, like, I think I have more and more when you kind of talk about it, or like my wife will talk to some of her friends. You find out that more people are going through it. And so, uh, the dude I'm going to the Mavericks game with tomorrow, he's been through it, and like he's just been like everyone's just been so supportive and cool because I think they know how a lot of the ups and downs that you can experience, and especially this couple, they've been through it a lot. That part's really cool, and it's like I also feel bad for my friends that were going through it, and I was kind of like, oh, that's cool, and wasn't
Yeah.
didn't know what a major undertaking it is. I like, damn, I should have been more supportive, or I
Yeah.
should have reached out more to see how you were doing.
Genuinely, that's how I felt whenever we had to put our dog down in like September of 2022, and I did not expect that to be such an awful experience. So now when anyone loses a pet, I'm like, "Hey, this is
Yeah.
hard. Like this is really hard. I hope you're
Yeah, yeah.
okay." I hate that for some things in life until you experience it yourself, you don't really wrap your head around what it actually looks like. It's
For
just how
sure.
it is. But yeah.
And parenthood is totally like that.
Yes.
For the right things to say in like really heavy times, like, and like you said, a pet, I'm just like, man, I want to reach out, but I don't know exactly what to say.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes just reaching out at all
Yep.
and just like, hey, I'm here, you
Yep.
know, call
Makes a
me if
big
you need
difference.
me, for sure.
Tell us a little bit about whenever you're on tour, like what do you do to stay connected to your wife and daughter? Because you're a touring musician. I know you
Yeah.
started out this year. Your West Coast trip was a good 3 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we used to do a real long time, but not since not since we've all been married and have kids now. But try to FaceTime and talk, but it does get a little. The calls can be a little more infrequent because, especially like West Coast, like the timing's off. Like,
Yeah.
well, hey, we're sound checking. It's like, well, we're going to bed
Yeah.
soon. You know what I mean? Like, and you just kind of miss each other. Luckily, we're both pretty independent. Like, we're not either. I'm probably the needier one out of the two of us. I'm like, man, I need to talk, and then, you know, I try to always check in. I text my daughter. I'll call her, but she's like, I'll just text her. So just kind of checking in. So we try the best we can, but it's tough when you're on the road and to have a meaningful conversation, or maybe if you just kind of check in every day, you're like, okay, yeah. So nothing's really new. Or I'm like, I'll try to text my daughter like pictures of where I am. Like, hey, I'm in San Francisco. Like there's the Golden Gate
Yeah.
Bridge, or here's that, just so she can kind of wrap her head around where I'm at and that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Do they ever go on tour with you and follow you?
So not they've met me in like cool cities. Like they came
Mm.
to New York. We played Brooklyn Bowl. They came.
Mm.
Trying to think. Mina's come to Seattle. She came to Seattle a couple times. She always picks really cool cities to come to. It's never like Columbus, Ohio.
No, not so much.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I
No,
was
no,
gonna say,
no.
what's wrong with Columbus, man? No, I'm
Whoa.
Yeah, out
joking.
of Ohio, that's probably one of the better cities.
I
Well,
think
Cincinnati.
I think most of the Friends of Wild Feathers people are Indianapolis based. I feel like that's where the main guys. So just don't talk trash about Indy, and I think you'll be
I
okay.
love Indy. I love Indy. My
That
home away from home.
It is funny though, Taylor, because like most of the day to day life stuff that you communicate with your kid isn't that exciting. Like whenever your kid gets home from
No.
school, you're like, "Hey, what was today like?" And they're like, "It was a day." But like to do that over a phone call does
Yeah.
feel they don't connect. They don't
No.
communicate well in person. So adding a phone doesn't suddenly make them be like, "Actually,
Yeah.
no. Here's my all
Oh, yeah.
insecurities."
I'm glad you asked. Yeah, I'm so
Yeah,
glad you asked. School was fucking awesome today. I had so many cool things that happened to me. I'm always
that's
like,
right.
you know, uh, like, did anyone make you laugh? Anyone make you upset or anything? She's like, no, no, no. I'm like, was it fun? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, I know you. I'm not getting anywhere, but
Yep.
and the best days are when she does really like. She's like, oh man, this happened. Da, da, da. It is really like dynamic and has a story to tell. So I know, life is not always cool and awesome and great. In school, I hated school, so I get it.
Even if like right now you're like, Devin, how was your day? I'd be like, I don't know, it was a day. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not much better than my own kids.
for sure.
Some days I'm like, oh, all this good stuff happened. And then other days I'm like, nah, I'm still here. That's good.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna make this elaborate dinner tonight because I didn't have anything to do because I'm off the road.
Yeah.
What else is your daughter into other than hockey? Like, does she?
She's on the rowing team. It's like
Great.
outside of school. So we go to public schools. That sounds like a very private school activity. She's on the rowing team. She's in theater. She's about to do they're doing Willy Wonka. That's next week. Those are her two things.
That's awesome. What
Yeah.
is she playing in Willy Wonka?
She is, God, I can't remember. It's like the reporter who's like going around the country announcing all the people who get the golden tickets. I think
Okay,
it's
yeah.
Phineas Trout, maybe I think is the character's name.
I have pretty good knowledge of that storyline, but I can't say I remember who the reporter is in the beginning of the
Yeah.
storyline. So
I've definitely read lines with her, so I should know.
Has
that's
she been
cool.
doing the theater for long?
This is probably like her sixth production or something.
Oh, wow.
She's really cool. We live in East Dallas. It's kind of like a little artsy, cooler part of Dallas, I think. And it's East Dallas Arts, and there's another one called Linden Grove. So she just loved all the kids there. There's a lot of them. There's like a pipeline to go to this Booker T school. It's a Dallas public school, but it's like really cool art magnet, pretty
Yeah,
much. So that's the hope that she gets to go there just because it's such a rad school. It's like in downtown, and
nice.
the kids going to do awesome stuff.
Well, I think Nashville had like the Nashville School of the Arts, which was a high school, which you specifically had to like test into to be able to like go through their curriculum. Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
very similar.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a normal high school with like a shitty football team,
Basically,
which I didn't care. I didn't really care about in high school either. I was like,
no.
no, I'm under the bleachers. I'm not sitting on top of them.
I didn't care about sports really until like I went to college, and it was a way like to connect back, like to connect with my dad and with like the Midwest and my hometown and everything. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
like in
cool.
high school, I'd be like, because I mean, I lived in Indiana while Peyton Manning was there, so like the Colts were really good whenever I was in high school, and my dad was really excited about games. So I was like, that sounds good. I'm gonna go do something else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when I started growing my hair long and playing guitar, so that kind of, I was friends with everybody, but I didn't really fit in with the jocks.
I feel like nowadays it's more acceptable. Like me being a nerdy music person and being obsessed with soccer, like makes sense. But me being a
Yeah.
nerdy person who really enjoyed soccer at like age 17 didn't work. So I don't know why it works at 37, but not at 17. But that's pretty true.
Yeah, that I know that checks out somehow, and I don't really know how it works either, but I totally understand what you
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
And I feel like now there's a ton of musicians that are like all into sports. I felt like I was kind of into sports, but not like my high school. I wasn't like
Yeah.
I didn't care about like, going to games. But I was kind of like ashamed as a musician, be like, oh yeah, let's check this game out. It felt like
Yeah.
they're two like rival
Yeah.
factions. And now it's like so much more acceptable, or just maybe I'm like older. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna be who I am.
I was gonna say your give a shit is probably a
Yeah,
whole lot.
but and at that age, you're like, oh, I hope people think I'm cool. Now it's like,
Yeah.
who cares? I know I'm not cool.
Yeah. No, like you couldn't be like, I'm going to play. Yeah, here's a very obscure indie song. Here's a Neutral Milk Hotel song on an acoustic guitar. And also, I'm a Colts fan. Like, I didn't think those two things could go together. And now they can.
What if I just belted out an Eddie Money song just because, I like the chorus? I'm just kidding.
Because it's hilarious.
2 tickets
to paradise. Rest in peace. But no, I remember feeling that tension also of like feeling, especially I'm 6'4" and I grew up in Indiana. So like everyone was like, oh, so you play basketball? And I'm like, no, I have zero coordination, like at all. I'm a great bench warmer. And
like
that's
a baby giraffe walking around.
Or a baby deer who's just trying not to fall over himself. So there's always the expectation to do sports, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna play some sad songs on guitar instead. That feels more right.
Dude, we had a really tall tour manager for a long time.
Yeah.
He was like 6. And people just come up to him out of like at an airport and nowhere, like, oh, you play basketball? Like treat him like a freak in a zoo. I'm like, hey, I would get so defensive, like, hey, fuck off, y'all. Like, we don't ask y'all anything about your, like, based on your appearance. Like, it's so messed up.
My uncle, I think, is 6'11", and he has a shirt that just says, no, I don't play basketball. Because how many people walk up to him and they're like, oh, so what did you play? Were you a center? And he's like, I never played. I play piano and I'm a computer programmer. Like, that's not basketball.
I'm 5'7", so I guess it's a little too close to average. It's under average. Like, what were you, like a second baseman or something? Like, yes.
Left out?
Yeah, left, right out. That's my starting position.
Left out, right field.
Nathan Graham is freaking tall. Watching him, because he opened for you guys on this last leg of the tour. And whenever you guys played in Denver, it was hilarious to watch him stand on stage and be like, his head's about to hit the ceiling. And then watch you guys walk out and be like, none of you are near, like, you guys are all much shorter than he.
I said one night, I was like, we bring him out for scale, because it's like I'm like jamming, playing guitar with him, and it's like it's comical. And he told us this story. He looks a lot like James Harden.
Yeah.
And he's
he's got the huge beard. Yeah.
He's been at airports and he dresses cool. He just looks cool as shit. And he's like, he was on a plane or something, like, you're James Harden. He's like, I swear I'm not. And he's like, no, you're him. And he was like borrowing his buddy's car, and it was like a really nice car, and he got in the car. The guy like was walking out of the airport at the same time. He's like, I knew it was you. I knew it was you. He's like, no, I swear to God,
I'm not,
me.
man.
At that point, I'd be like, all right, well, I am.
Sounds good.
Give me $40 and I'll give you an autograph.
That's right.
I got Dan Arbach one time at a place in LA. I had a shaggier beard.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
And they're like, hey, Dan, like, I'm like, I'm not.
The
I'm
Black
not
Keys,
him.
Just so you know,
Yeah.
Justin.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not him. I'm just another white guy with a beard.
Pretty much. Who is holding a guitar.
Yeah, who's holding a guitar. It looks like he owns a guitar.
Yeah. Sweet. Taylor,
Yes, sir.
We'll start wrapping down the episode.
All right, let's do it.
So, Taylor, how we end every episode is we ask every guest 5 questions. Once Justin has them pulled up, I'll ask the first one.
All right. Well, least favorite kid show.
Least favorite kid show? God, I'm so far removed from it. Probably, what I'm trying to think of it. So many ways to be wicked. I know the song from it.
Descendants.
Yeah. Probably the Descendants. Yeah. We went through a heavy phase of that.
It is so bad. It's like as if you took like Kesha and Lady Gaga songs and said, what's like it's not even the demo tapes. It's like as if she sang it in her sleep and someone recorded it and fleshed it into a full song.
Yes. Do you have a favorite one on there? Because I love Bluey. Bluey still.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Bluey still is badass.
No, Bluey is definitely the best because I think Bandit gives every dad the right to feel emotions. And you're like, well, if Bandit can get upset about this, I can get upset about this.
No, I love that show. And like Layla still watches it to this day. I'm like, which is really sweet too. She's not like too cool for it. I'm like, all right, that's awesome. Me and Mean are just like crying on the couch, like,
dude, no, it's brutal. Well, I know I've said this before in an episode, but like the episode Curry Quest, I feel like is monumental to me because it's where Bandit actually discusses being sad about leaving his family at home. Where I feel like every other dad is portrayed as like, you know what, I got to go work the job. I'm support my family. I got to do this. And the entire episode is just like, hey, he's actually really sad. He's going to be away from his family for work. Even if it has a purpose, he still feels the weight of not being around for moments. And I'm like, I really hate that it took a cartoon dog to communicate this to an entire generation.
Yeah, if only my dad would have talked to me.
Pretty much. Whatever. Our parents had that's a good side tangent of like, okay, who raised my dad? A World War II vet. Oh yeah, there's no emotional range there. Nope, there was none.
Bandit is the dad we always wish we had.
Pretty much.
But go ahead, Taylor.
What were you going to say about your dad, Tuck?
I would say my dad's dad was all like, I think he was different. Like, you know, my dad was born in 54 and his dad is a musician, like really loving. Like my dad told me a story. So I think it was different. My dad's like super softy, emotional. Okay. So I don't have that, but I see that with my other friends. Like, God, you and your dad like hug and like have like, yeah, or whatever. Like you were saying, our dads were raised by just most of them were like emotionally unavailable human beings because they didn't have the blueprints. Yeah, you know,
it was just survival, and whenever you're in survival mode constantly, it changes how you treat people, changes how you show love, basically.
For sure.
So yeah, Justin, I now realize why you skipped the first question. So normally our first question is, did your kid have any backup names? But you weren't there and part of that process. Yeah. So Justin, well done on that ad lib. Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of already answered this question, but just in case there's something else, do you have a favorite TV or movie dad besides Bandit?
Besides Bandit? No.
Okay.
That's got to be my number one. I could try to rack my brain and think of something else.
Were there, growing up, who was your favorite TV dad? Did you do like Step by Step, Family Matters, anything like that?
Yes, all that. I'm trying to think though. I mean, I hate to say it now because he's disgraced, but Cosby.
Bill Cosby, yep.
I mean,
so many.
It was so good. I loved him. You know, I'm like, it's so revered. That's why it was so shocking and so like,
yeah,
you know,
he was a phenomenal TV role model.
Yeah,
and then you found out who he really was.
Uncle Phil, I know wasn't a dad. I mean, he was a dad on the
father figure.
Yeah, Uncle Phil on what's it? Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely Cosby, probably.
Sadly. Yep. Nope. It's a
Yeah.
very conflicted answer.
Dude, and Roseanne, what's
Dan?
Dan?
Dan.
Yeah.
You know, because it was just real. That was more closely
Yes.
aligned with my upbringing. You know, it's kind of like dysfunctional but loving.
Yes. And probably a little buzzed at the same time.
Oh yeah, Dad was definitely tossing back some Coors Light.
Yep, definitely.
There you go. All right. Next question. Go-to replacement curse word. You talked about
Man, I already
you
told you
cussing a lot.
I don't really replace them that well. I guess fudge. I don't know. I just kind of
Fudge.
let them fly.
You got the bus mouth. You got tour mouth. You know.
I do, and it's terrible. But you know, there's worse things in this world than hearing a bad word.
That's funny.
True.
Do you feel like there's a subject that you now know a ton about that you would have had no idea existed now that you're a dad? Like some people have said, like sleep schedules. Is there anything that you're a dad now since you're a dad, where you have like a weird knowledge base where you're like, I would have never known this existed unless I was a father?
Well, I know. So there's a few that popped into my head, like, and it's kind of older age, like going the transition of being a woman. I just say, like, me talking to my daughter about that. Like in my family growing up, we never talked about my sister having her period or anything. So just like being open, like just being honest and open and having that conversation, knowing like, you know, going to buy products at the store. And then also like makeup routines. Like she's all obsessed with like makeup and like skincare routines and stuff. So those are two things that weren't on my bingo card coming into this life.
Yeah.
But now they are.
Where your daughter starts to talk about it and you're like, okay, wait, no, I know what this means. Hold on, just give me a second. I'm
Sure.
learning.
And just again, like, grow, especially about the, you know, transition into womanhood, like being not freaked out by it.
Yes, of course. Yep.
Because my generation, everyone's like, oh, that's a little weird to talk about.
And you're like, well, it's what their body's doing, regardless of if you want to
I
acknowledge
know,
it or not.
yeah.
So.
And IVF would be the other one because that's just all my.
Yes.
I had no idea about all that stuff until the last 6 months or so.
Yep, that makes sense. Next question: do you have a favorite kids' toy or activity, like something you do with your daughter, where like it feels special to you two to do that activity together?
I would say I'm trying to think of something back in the day. I think now we go and walk around the lake, which before rowing or after rowing, just like she like started asking like, hey, can we go on a walk? And I'm like, just us two. That's when I get her to talk, you know, coming home from school. It's like she'd never talked. And then out there, I feel like we do our most bonding.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So I don't know if it's a toy or anything in particular.
No, that works.
Activity,
Yeah.
But
that's perfect.
That's what came to mind.
Yeah. We've had other dads be like, that was who's the rock climbing guy? Kidder was saying that, where he was like, yeah, you know, my son, I ask him 20 questions. We get some from school. Nothing. I throw a football to him 2 times. He opens up. No, like, it's just distracted him enough that he suddenly is like, by the way, this made me sad at school today. But if he throws a football, he'll talk about it. But if I look him in the eyes and ask him, he won't answer me.
Yeah. I think sometimes like doing something physical can make kind of drop your guard or something.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Next question. Best parenting advice you received?
I guess like we were saying earlier, kind of relates back, just like don't like sweat the small stuff, like the day to day. Like don't be too much of a hard ass. Just enjoy enjoy the moment and don't worry about like every little thing being perfect or in place or whatever. Like just kind of just be, I don't know, welcoming and loving and open to let it happen.
Chaos. Open to chaos.
Embrace the chaos.
Pretty much though. Only other thing is just self-promotion. If you want to promote your Instagram, Wild Feathers Instagram, all that stuff, that way, you know, people find your music and all that good stuff.
Yeah, go to thewildfeathers.com, go to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, The Wild Feathers. We're going on tour. I don't know when this is going to air, but in a couple of weeks on the East Coast. And then we're doing those dates with the Wallflowers in June. So, yeah, come see us, buy a ticket to a show, get some merch.
Yeah.
Let's have a beer.
That's right.
Yes.
Thanks for having a very normal conversation about being dads and sports and stuff. It's really fun to be able to do this.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on, and it was an honor and a pleasure.
Sweet.
Appreciate you, Taylor.
We'll catch you whenever you're in town, man, and enjoy the rest of your night, all right?
All right, take care.
All right, sweet. Thanks,
Bye.
man. Thank you for listening to the episode.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at The Imperfect Dads Podcast.
And make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to us.
The music is provided by the Wild Feathers.
And all episodes are produced and edited by me.
Make sure to tune in Mondays for new episodes.